front all the way to the bottom of the climb, and also that young German rider Hessmann, who is on the front for a long time before even the main group split. And now we've got the Ineos Grenadiers squad with Adam Yates tapping out his own painful rhythm to try and keep those riders up front on a relatively short leash. And this is going to have to be finally judged and finally balanced. They want to try and make the junction. They want to try and save a little bit of energy, though, for the final lap. And, well, how close are they going to be, if at all close, to the head of affairs by the time they get to the top of the climb? Well, we're going to find out. Tej Benoot also finding himself a bit further down than might be profitable. Vincenzo Nibali, the camera picks him out. He's close to the head of that bunch, but not quite on it. And it's a much thinned down front group. Well, it showed at 5-7 seconds. We can discount that number because this is clearly a sustained effort by Fausto Masnada that's put a little bit of daylight again into the main peloton behind. A look over the shoulder. We've lost another rider from the leads. I was wondering whether Fausto Masnada might have his own opportunity today. I think you can discount that. It's not for Italy, it's for Ducati Quick-Step. And now Yates has for company Nairo Quintana. Quintana, fourth here in 2017, is being led by Adam Yates, who himself has come up with some useful efforts in the past. Second in 2017, third in 2019. He knows this climb, knows exactly what it's about. Masnada just roots across the road as if to say, I don't wonder if anyone else keen to make an effort. And Joao made a little conversation here, and that's interesting. What's he saying to Julian Alaphilippe? Is he saying that maybe, Julian, you would actually... no, he's indicating that it might be worth Ineos Grenadier, or sorry, the Ducati Quick-Step team's while just letting Fausto Masnada jog up the road, and that is ensuring and forcing the UAE Team Emirates squad to do a little bit of chasing here. It's not all about the Blue Riders in terms of, and he's just about made the junction. What a super effort. Adam Yates has managed to make it onto the lead group here, and he's arrived at the front of the race before, well, just about on the front of the race. Fausto Masnada, of course, has that few seconds advantage. But he's a stalking horse here for the Ducati Quick-Step squad that have Julian Alaphilippe and Joao Almeida behind. Now it's Rafa Majka that's tapping out a rhythm and keeping Fausto Masnada honest, and ensuring that Tadej Pogačar is close to the head of affairs. A little bit slower to make the junction, but surely coming on is, well, you can discount that. In actual fact, that is Nairo Quintana, is just about to make it on. He didn't quite get there as quickly as Adam Yates. Looks like Yates is in better form, or maybe Quintana is just measuring the effort just a little bit more steadily. Because it's not just about getting on here. You've got to ensure that you've got something for the final push inside the final 5 kilometers. So Masnada has been retained. What's Woods going to do about that? Well, he's got some assistance. Hermans it is that's just coming to the front here for the Israel Startup Nation squad. Quintana's not on just yet, but he's about to. It looks like another couple of Ineos Grenadiers riders just trying to get involved. Could it be Sivakov? So Quintana's on. And a little bit of a frantic effort from Mari van Sevenen to try and stay in there to assist his teammates. Masnada tapping out that rhythm. Looks like everyone else in the group is pretty much equal to it at the moment. Movistar squad look like they're down to 1, so I'm not sure if Cataldo's still here. Looks like Cataldo may well have been distanced, just a little bit of a squeezy moment there. For, I think it might have been Rafa Majka. No, Majka's second in line, what am I saying? It was actually Alaphilippe, wasn't it? So a couple of more riders into the party. Michael Storer, the young Australian, has arrived up front, and a good effort from indeed Pavel Sivakov, the 24-year-old Russian rider with the Ineos Grenadiers squad. Good news for Adam Yates, he's got someone to help. What is the state of play? What is the state of the strength of these riders into the final 20 kilometers? They've got about another, what, kilometer and a bit of this climb to go, and it gives you a real sense of just what a grippy conclusion to what's been a pretty entertaining day already. Look at Mari van Sevenent, rider in blue. As soon as the gradient starts to ease, and you realize it must be easing, because he was really working to stay in there. But what a pro's job, because the minute the gradient eases, he goes straight up to the front. Knows that Fausto Masnada needs every little bit of help and assistance he can possibly get. It's all getting a bit interesting now, because Groupama FDJ put David Gaudu in here as well. A couple of fifth-place finishes in this event from Gaudu. They've got strength and depth, have the Groupama FDJ squad. And this group have daylight. So the riders that could be sprung across have indeed done it, and there you have the front of the race. Van Sevenent doing a solid job for Alaphilippe, and indeed for Joao Almeida. Well, the riders behind aren't that far back, are they? So they need to keep pressing on here, because it looks to me as if we could indeed have... Well, the camera is surely going to foreshorten the distance between those riders, but look at... Oh, this is the front group. Look at the composition of that group behind, which can't be more than 20 seconds, if even that. So a lot of riders still have stayed motivated to make their way up front. And still riders trying to race across the junction, saving some belief and hope. I think this could be Fabro, the diminutive Italian climber. Fabulous young rider. Really exciting performances, and a big breakthrough victory for him, I think, is imminent. Whether it's today, when he's up against some big names, if he's going to get it, not least of which is Alexander Vlasov, the Russian rider. Actually, two Russians, I think, up front. More riders joining in. The gradient is eased, but that doesn't mean it's easy. So that was a big effort from Vlasov, and it's just the pace that they go up these hills, allowing him to gain some sort of respite and relief from the slipstream effect. They charge up these mountains, and they get some sort of a draft effect from it. More to arrive. The new A-Team Emirates are going to have more riders to assist. I wonder indeed if this is not Ulissi. Indeed it is. Former winner of this bike race, Diego Ulissi, always saves a little bit, doesn't he, for the Autumn Classics. Bauke Mollema also trying to get involved. It might have been Rain Taramai as well for the Intermarché Wanty Gobert squad. Certainly he would be likely to be one of their favoured riders. Dan Hirt among their number as well. So just inside 20 kilometres remaining of Milano-Torino for 2021. It's Joao Almeida that hits the front of a bike race that has been all action since we've got the live picture. It's been all action all day. 450 watts. That's he's not even putting faces, but he's putting some big numbers. Give a little look around at Rafa Mike as if to say, are you happy with that? Yeah, no problem at all. Let's do it again. They're going to get to do it again. Going up this hill again. They've got a fairly complicated little descent here. These roads, they look beautifully smooth from the helicopter shot. I can tell you they're anything but. They haven't been resurfaced all that recently. Not too many trucks head across these roads, so they just leave them to their own devices. Ulissi makes it across. Stana looking to put a man in now. And it's time to get going. Could it possibly be Van Sevenent who's been encouraged to see what he's capable of? And what he's capable of is very impressive indeed. Well, he's my personal hero so far. Him and Dries Stevenens from what we've seen in the action to this point. Julian Alaphilippe just moves out to have a little look at what's happening, and it's the Quick Quickstep squad going on the attack. Big crowds out. It's great, isn't it? Post-COVID, everybody's welcome to... Well, we're not quite post-COVID. I don't think we ever will be, so let's temper that particular description a little bit, but we are in a period where it's okay to meet up outside. And that's a welcome bottle collection as well from Mauri van Sevenent, who is the stalking horse for the De Koning Quick Step squad. He's given himself a shot at this. He's also given himself first look at this descent. And he'll have to plough and press on, but who's going to do the chasing behind? Year-old Belgian rider, born in Ostend. Away from that, took a victory this year in GP Industria Artigianto, which is one of those Italian classic races of some significance in this part of the world. Probably doesn't get that much exposure outside of Italy, but well, better change that, hadn't we? Because it's a super race and a super victory for him. Also won the Giro Ciclista della Valle d'Aosta Mont Blanc in 2019. So Van Sevenent is a rider. He's a bit of a project player as well. He signed through to the end of 2023, and he's already made his mark. Took that win against Bauke Mollema and Mikel Landa, among others, in that victory in that Italian race earlier on this year. So Van Sevenent is already a rider of some calibre and renown and clear ability. And that nodding dog style is effective. Chase behind with Taramai trying to knit this one together. He's just about there. It's as if Champoussin as well, I think, has also made it across for the AG Tour Le Mondial squad, or AG Tour Citroën, of course. That particular title existed for about 100 years, so it's tough to shift it from your mind, isn't it? Citroën, and they're very appropriately sponsoring the French team. The squad has been around a long time now. Chase group showing at 7 seconds. Is it really that little? If it is, we could have a fairly big welding together and a decent expansion of the group in hot pursuit of Mauri van Sevenent, who's going to take up the job of chasing down the young Belgian rider. Made his debut on the World Tour in July of last year. And already he has made a name for himself. So about 12 and a bit kilometers to the start of the final climb. It is 4.9 kilometers long, so that's all you need to know, really. The aforementioned Bauke Mollema, with 2:05, just reaching into his pocket for probably the final time to pick up a gel, get the sugars in. What sort of legs will he have for it? He's another man who's gone top 10 in this event in the past, 7th in 2019. It looks like he's the best option for the Trek Segafredo squad today. Now Van Sevenent has gone for glory. He's been given his opportunity. It amounts to a tactical play by the De Koning Quick Step squad. The expectation is that this attack is more about making the others chase, in the belief that their men, Joao Almeida, number 2, and Julian Alaphilippe, number 1, are more likely to prevail. Scrolling through the numbers, Remy Rojas has made it up there for the Cofidis squad. Gaudu, as we've mentioned, Sivakov, Biscara as well. Michael Storer also coming across to join those that were up front. Domenico Pozzovivo. Great effort from the veteran Italian rider. Another man who's enjoyed success in this event in the past. 3 times 7th place finisher and a best result of 4th back in 2013 from the little pocket climber from the Team Quebec and Nextash squad. A squad indeed that's a lot of speculation about its future. Currently on the hunt for vitally needed sponsorship. A lot of the riders, I think, anxiously looking hard, and with the blessing indeed of team management, for alternative employment for 2022. .15 kilometers remaining. much of it at a fast rate. The final 5 altogether slower, but way more demanding. Then 7 gets first look, and you can see that tarmac has been repaired on the right-hand side of the road, for which the riders will be grateful. But it's a bit of a patchwork quilt, isn't it? And this is a tricky enough descent. I think everyone is probably relieved that the leaves haven't yet started falling with any great significance, and the weather conditions are pretty good as well, even in those sun-dappled, shaded little areas. The apexes of the corners are still just about as dry as they need to be. And he's expanded his advantage up to 14 seconds. Chase group behind. In hot pursuit, he's wanted to be on that tarmac, I think, and just had to make a little bit of adjustment there. I don't think the camera really, and the wonderful stabilization of the lenses that the moto camera operators are using, really gives the full truth, because it means that we've got a really clear image of Van Sevenent, but not a clear understanding of just how bumpy these roads are and can be. It's a smooth surface when it isn't rutted, but there are plenty of little lumps and ruts and little potholes that need to be negotiated. And very often the ideal racing line around a corner is somewhat compromised by the road surface, so they need to make an adjustment on the fly. It's not like you've got pace notes here. That even with the knowledge of having raced the event in the past, that many of the riders will be able to bank and to take with them. Really, it's very difficult to know every little nook and cranny. That's what's so fabulous about bicycle road racing, isn't it? It's about adjusting and adapting to changing conditions across the day. Julian Alaphilippe against Fausto Masnada at the moment. Well, the average power output from Julian Alaphilippe considerably less at the moment. Oh, that's on the first time, of course, with Fausto Masnada up front. Alaphilippe in the wheels, watching with interest, trying to save as much energy as he possibly could. Still, there was energy expenditure, wasn't there? 5k at 400 watts. For a rider of his stature, I think, was still a significant output from Julian Alaphilippe. The question is, can he recover and do it again? The expectation is, on the form that he showed in Leuven, he most certainly can. Up to 15 seconds, another little bit of a gain. And now it's the Ineos Grenadiers squad that are... probably Sivakov, I think, that has hit the front there to try and pursue this man, Van Sevenent, who's within, I was about to say within touching distance of the finale, but really it's what, about just over 5 kilometers, and then we'll hit the beginning of the climb. Beautiful little villages and fantastic narrow little roads. A bit complicated if you encounter a big truck or something on your travels. But to go racing, to go cycling on, that's just a beautiful, wonderful part of the world. Indeed, these events, these races in the conclusion of the week, these two races are supported by Piemonte region. It's a workmanlike, busy style, isn't it, from Mauri Van Sevenent. Fair distinction, I think, in 2019 Giro d'Italia. And fortunately, he broke his collarbone, I think, didn't he? And that sort of put him out of contention. He really to hit the heights since then. So 10 seconds to Van Sevenent. One wonders just how many riders are available to come back into the lead group. I'll remind you of some of the names. You can see Julian Alaphilippe, João Almeida there available as well for the Taquani Quick-Step squad. Masnada will probably take up the tempo if and when this man is chased down, and Van Sevenent's going to need a lot more than 9 seconds starting the final climb. He's got 5k to increase his advantage, but it would need to be, I think, north of 30 seconds in reality for him to have even the merest hope of surviving across 5 kilometers or so. But he's ensuring that the chase has to happen, and it's the UAE Team Emirates squad with possibly, no, it's Micah. They brought Fabro in, didn't they? Or is it Ulisi? He's hit the front. We'll get a look at it in a moment. silhouetted against the sun-bleached roads of Torino and its outskirts today. And 7 and stomping on the pedals, man from Ostend. 10 kilometres remaining. They've got 180 kilometres of bike racing already completed. Julian Alaphilippe still in prime position. He was involved in that big split in the peloton of 25 riders and raced across and scooped up the 6 riders from the early break of the day and forced some of the big teams, including Trek Segafredo, Team Ineos Grenadiers and others. Quebec and Next squad of Domenico Pozzovivo among them, to work really hard to get back up to the likes of Primoz Roglic of Team Jumbo-Visma and the Deceuninck Quick-Step squad of João Almeida and the world champion Julian Alaphilippe. Number 211 of the 2 Slovenians in shot there, isn't it? It's Tadej Pogacar and Primoz Roglic, who between them kind of tied up the Tour de France and Vuelta a España over recent years. Alejandro Valverde finding time for a little bit of a chat with Primoz Roglic. What that conversation was about. Valverde saying, well, I've got no one. It's got to be up to the likes of UAE Team Emirates. And who else? Ineos Grenadiers to do the chasing up front. Down to the final 8 and a bit kilometres now. 8.5 kilometres for Mari van Sevenen, who steals a little look over his shoulder and looks for the encouragement to persevere with what's a very, very painful but no less impressive effort for all that. 3.5k really, and that's in many ways his destination. He knows that he wants a decent advantage into that final climb, just make the UAE Team Emirates squad chase. But for Micah and friends, well, if they've got Van Sevenen within 12 seconds, they believe that they have everything they need. The Moncanino. Moncanino? Moncanino. Solid contribution here from Mike, a man who's performed with great distinction in this event in the past. I think I've mentioned already that he has a string of top places here, so the play has got to be for Tadej Pogacar, but possibly too for Diego Ulissi, former winner of this race, just one of a couple of former winners indeed that pinned on a number today. For all that, there's an absolute battalion of riders that have finished top 10 in this event, and we've got some of the biggest names in world cycling. Tadej Pogacar, his first appearance in this event. And, well, actually 3 former winners, with Thibaut Pinot also starting today, although he's not involved in this group up front. Michael Woods has made it into the move. He'll be greatly relieved to still be a part of this this event and still in the prime position to show what he's capable of. And for Vlasov, the young Russian rider at the Astana Premier Tech squad, just riding along in the wake of others, wondering what strength he's got for the fight. Took him a while to get involved and to make his way up front. As well as Startup Nation rider number 141 is, of course, Michael Woods, the 34-year-old Canadian, first in 2019 and second in 2016 as well. Poussin, also a name to conjure with here. 23-year-old Frenchman with the AG2R Citroën squad has made it in. Vizcarra, the Euskaltel rider. I think I mentioned that it was Boo a little while ago, and he was distanced some while ago, and he's been replaced at the front by Mikel Vizcarra, 32-year-old rider from the from the Spanish Basque region. Van Sevenen has extended his advantage, needs all of that. It's going to make things interesting. He is riding in a manner that he is almost as if he doesn't know there's a climb to come. Believe you me, he absolutely does. He and the rest have already been over it. And he needs to extend his advantage, just hope that he can just survive. Meanwhile, Rafa Maika keeping him on a relatively short leash. Fausto Masnada, Julian Alaphilippe, Joao Almeida and friends, Sivakova et al., all riding along in line astern. So turn about to be made onto the final climb as we make our way up to the beautiful Basilica at Superga. The hill, the site of a leading nature park, major environmental and tourist asset for the city. A wealth of natural landmarks. And we're going to head up to a man-made landmark that is the Basilica, built in between 1717 and 1731 to fulfill a vow that Victor Amadeus II, Duke of Savoy, made to the Virgin Mary during a difficult moment for the kingdom in one of his various battles. He's hit the hill. Difficult moment now for Mari van Seven, and inside 5 kilometers indeed from the conclusion of this event. 9.1% on average. It's a bit of a beast. It's the biggest hill in this region, in and around Turin. And you just see the people standing at the side of the road give you the best indication, really, of just how steep this hill is. It maxes out at just over 14%, but it's just so consistently difficult and long enough to really test the legs as the riders are brought in and onto the bottom of the climb. I don't think there's anyone coming up from behind at this stage. This is your selection. These are the riders that are going to contest the victory today. Here's the winner coming from this group. Van Zeven and spring a surprise and survive. Maika just stretches it a little bit, and a little bit of daylight opens to Julian Alaphilippe's teammates behind. Now they're just throttling back ever so slightly, and Julian Alaphilippe, and they just, I mean, that's just a little bit of game playing as well, and it's something that the likes of Adam Yates and Pavel Sivakov need to be mindful of. Now they've got to close the gap, and it's a headache. It's something that they didn't really need to have to do. There's Biscara from the Euskaltel squad just being tailed off by the leaders, or at least the lead chase group. What about that? Maika's charging ahead, and Julian Alaphilippe not quite equal to this one at the moment. What's happening behind as Adam Yates goes ahead and around and presses on? Will Alaphilippe be able to respond here? Was that all about Almeida? Looks to me as if it's all up for Julian Alaphilippe. Is he done for the season? Has he got something left for Saturday? Is he going to slot in to the back of this group? But well, it's done for him, and what a great effort indeed it's been for the team throughout the day. But they're going to leave it up to their man Joao Almeida, who's pulling that usual pain face in the wake of Adam Yates, who looks in control of his effort at the moment. Down to 7 seconds for Van Sevenant, who's in a world of hurt. He's not putting this on for show. He really is feeling the pinch. His time out front about to come to an end, in hopes that he at least perseveres through to see what he's capable of producing in terms of a top finish. Julian Alaphilippe has not entirely pulled the pin either. He's just tapping out a fairly painful rhythm that will get him to the hill as quickly as possible. And for Maika too, I don't think they're going to be a factor from now on. Tadej Pogacar is going to be the man for the U18 elements man, and he takes up position. Second in the bike race now, as Mari van Sevenen has been overhauled. And Adam Yates, who had a really worrying moment, he was behind, he was in that chase group. The Ineos Grenadiers team had to do so much chasing to ensure that their man was in prime position. The world champion's not going to be a factor. He's not going to emulate the achievement of Gianni Pugno in taking victory in Rainbow Stripes back in 1992. It's somewhat Milano Torino curse of the Rainbow jersey continues. Yates looks in control of his effort. He's not the sort of rider that betrays the feelings that must inevitably be there. And we have a detachment. Yates, Woods, Roglic, Valverde, Pogačar, Almeida. There are your riders up front. Led by Yates. Pursued by the Tour de France champion, Tadej Pogačar, making his Milano-Torino debut. Valverde has latched on here. He's at the back of the group. Another man who's, well, he's graced this race with distinction in the past, but he has to taste victory. Woods just letting a little bit of daylight go between himself and the rider in front. Is that a signal that he's feeling the pinch a little bit, or perhaps is it something different? And this chase group are seeing their chances disappearing up the road, courtesy of Adam Yates, who didn't seem even remotely interested in the performance of the riders behind him. He's just doing his own ride and trying to make it consistently painful, and it's a very effective piece of work, because Michael Woods has been distanced. So too has Alejandro Valverde. Pogačar's feeling the pinch as well, and Almeida's had to ride up and over Pogačar, and it's only Primož Roglic that can follow Adam Yates now. It's Yates that looks as if he's just out for a training spin, really, but the effort that he's making here has distanced all but the Vuelta a España champion. Primož Roglic in absolutely flying form of late. And just the merest hint of a throttling back allows João Almeida in characteristic fashion. Almeida will fight and fight and fight all the way to the top of this climb. So too will Tadej Pogačar. They won't give up on it just yet. And Roglic senses a little bit of a change in the pace as Adam Yates has a little look at just what he did. What he did was pretty much destroy the aspirations of almost the entire group. Only Roglic, Almeida, Pogačar able to follow. Alejandro Valverde will keep it real as well. Michael Woods. Oh, and he's gone again. Just missed it, didn't we? As Adam Yates has taken his leave of the rest, and who's going to do the chasing? Almeida looks across at Roglic as if to say, Primož, you were the one that covered it earlier on, so you're going to have to do this one. I ain't got it. Adam Yates is clear and flying to glory here. Can anyone muster a response? As Adam Yates just throttled back ever so slightly, the rest came onto his wheel and then just recovered and went again. Primož Roglic is racing solo now in pursuit and coming across the gap, and he's getting there. He's going to get there, isn't he? Primož Roglic trying to find a way to distance the rest and shake off that little headache. And it's only Roglic now, you feel, that can prevent Adam Yates from taking glory here. Roglic playing a canny game. Adam Yates still riding on the front. 29-year-old, pursued now by Tadej Pogačar and João Almeida. It's your third and fourth place riders on the road. And the Tour de France champion is not going to make his Milano-Torino bow with a victory unless something extraordinary happens up front. Have they completely... They would have to, I think, stall to a fairly significant degree to allow these riders to get back in. But the fact that Roglic is just going to ride along in the wheel of Adam Yates. Will Adam Yates feel a little bit vulnerable? He's having a little look over his shoulder to see, just at the opportune moment, just to see how close the nearest pursuers were. Well, Almeida and Pogačar working together, but 16 seconds is a lot. Now Roglic picks it up on the front. That, you suspect, was kind of needed. 31 years of age, the man from Slovenia. Won the last 3 editions of the Vuelta Ciclista a España. He's a man who can retain his form from one end of the season to the next. Has tasted glory in Italy in the past, of course. 3 stage wins in Giro d'Italia, and of course victory in Giro dell'Emilia just a couple of days ago. And that, of course, was his second victory in that race. Well, the blue tyres are the new thing, the new old thing. It's about time they were blue and yellow and red and all sorts of colours. Tells you what compound they are. Seem effective enough. They're full of air. That's the main thing right now. That's what he'll hope is the state of play as we're inside 2 kilometres to go. Ineos Grenadiers looked out of it, didn't they? On the wrong end of a split in the peloton. And all of the other riders around him were involved and in that front end, but Ineos Grenadiers team having sprung him into action and got Adam Yates into prime position. And now we'll be delighted to know that he is at least giving them a solid chance of victory today. The Valverde group that they're calling it includes the likes of Fausto Masnada. Michael Wood's a former winner of this race. David Gaudu is another rider who enjoys this climb, but he won't be enjoying it too much right now. We're over half a minute down on these riders. Still Adam Yates. One from Bury in Lancashire. Burying himself to stay in the bike race is João Almeida, who's been distanced now by Tadej Pogačar. Pogačar 19 seconds back. He won't give up on this just yet either. Pogačar third in Trevale Varesini in just yesterday. Trying to hone his form ahead of the final big push on Saturday. This is a very important win in its own right. Just sits one place below World Tour status. And it's a pro event, a 1 point pro. 20 seconds to Pogačar. They need to keep tapping out a decent rhythm. Pogačar's a fine finisher as well. It's a really grippy finale. I can tell you the final 600 metres maintain that constant gradient all the way up to the climb. And there's a bend in the road with about 50 metres to go. João Almeida's not giving up on this either. He's got a shot at third, if not the victory. Quintana, Gaudu, Valverde, that group is split. Michael Woods trying to race clear, has been retained by the rest. And Yates, who himself has enjoyed glory in Italy in the past. Fourth in Giro dell'Emilia at the weekend. And of course, coming behind Primož Roglic, João Almeida a second on that occasion, Michael Woods third, so it's the usual suspects. Riders retaining form. And the gradient eases ever so slightly here. We come to that little 600 metres to go segment, and this could be an opportunity for Pogačar. If there's any sort of a stall up front, riders start looking around. João Almeida will not give up in this either. He continued to press on to get on terms with Pogačar all the way to the line. Yates fourth overall behind Roglic in the Vuelta a España, and then fourth in the Giro dell'Emilia a few days ago. What does he have to do to better the Slovenian superstar? So they're going to take the road less travelled and head through that deviation. It's going to bring them up into that final climb up to the Basilica, up to the finish line here. Pogačar can see them just ahead. He's encouraged to continue his effort and hope that there's some sort of a stall up front. Roglic leads them into the hairpin left, and that takes them into that final 600 metres. Shown 500 on screen. I can assure you it is about 600. And now they're looking around, and Adam Yates knows that this is the phony war. This is the moment when they have to figure out exactly what they're capable of. Almeida's almost got up to Pogačar. Pogačar in turn is closing up. Here's the attack. Here it comes. The first salvo fired by Adam Yates. He did the attacking on the first time of asking on the final assault of the Basilica Superga. And now it is Adam Yates that goes for glory, and Roglic is having to grind his way back on. Is he going to get there in time? He's going to make it onto the back wheel of Adam Yates momentarily. Will he have something left to try and get around him? First man into that final turn is going to be really important here. It is a a complicated little finale, and Primož Roglic has made it back up onto the wheel of Adam Yates and goes to come around him. Primož Roglic around Adam Yates and into the final couple of 100 metres, and he has to give best to the man from Slovenia once more. A brave effort from Adam Yates. He shakes his head. He can hardly believe it, but he's got to. It's happened once again. And Primož Roglic is going to take victory here through that final bend. 50 metres to go. A look over your shoulder. Chapeau, Primož. Milano Torino 2021 falls to the man from Team Jumbo-Visma as Primož Roglic gets the victory with Adam Yates not even in sight. What a finely judged effort by Primož Roglic as he comes to the line and takes the win, with Adam Yates bowing his head. A brave effort from the Team Ineos Grenadiers, man, and we're going to have a little match sprint for third. João Almeida from Portugal and the De Koning Quick Step squad, having done a great job today, have put their man into position for third on the day, although Pogačar won't give up on it just yet. They're going to have to sprint this one out. Two fast finishes indeed, but it is going to just about be João Almeida to get third. Give us a little bit of entertainment, but fundamentally that was about the man that got the win. It was about this man, Primož Roglic, your winner of Milano Torino 2021. Now they're scrolling across the line down below me, and they'll be coming up here for a long time. Grippy finale to a fast run race, well ahead of the fastest schedule, I can tell you, by a mile. So one of the quicker editions of this race. I suspect it could be on record pace. Beautiful conditions for racing, some of the best riders in the world, and they have given us a wonderful piece of entertainment and honoured this bike race, this venerable bike race, in the history and heritage of this event in fine style this afternoon. Familiar routine for Primož Roglic, who's enjoyed plenty of victories this season. It's just the latest of them, and as I said, manages to keep his form right through to the end of the year. It's been a productive year indeed. It began with success on Paris-Nice. He took no less than 3 victories and the points classification of Paris-Nice. I reckon that's his 13th victory of the year. Wait for full clarification of that, but that is a solid performance. Great all-rounder. The best riders of his generation, and Primož Roglic has delivered once more. He's not afraid to show his ability and his strength ahead of the big appointments. Nothing complicated, he just goes racing. And he's managed to retain his form through and beyond the Vuelta a España. Winner of the Olympic Games individual time trial, of course. Victory in the Vuelta a España this year. Didn't get the big one in terms of one-day races. The World Championship road race falling to this man, but Julian Alaphilippe, not quite a bit part player, but certainly in a supporting role to João Almeida and indeed to the rest of the top 10 finishers. It's the winning bike. We don't have to get blue tires now. A blue one on the front, and I think I prefer the black rubber and the white town walls. There you have it. Primož Roglic getting the win ahead of Adam Yates. Almeida just pipping Tadej Pogačar, Woods, Gaudu, Lisi, Masnada. There's the confirmation of the finishing order at the conclusion of Milano Torino, with Primož Roglic getting the victory by fully 12 seconds in the end, ahead of Adam Yates. João Almeida getting up to third, just ahead of Tadej Pogačar, Michael Woods, Gaudu, Lisi, Masnada, Quintana and Valverde rounding out the top 10. All-star top 10. Primož Roglic sitting atop. Well, there's the beautiful Basilica I mentioned a little earlier. Dates from the early years of the 18th century. Press room is. It's one of the real privileges of road race cycling is that you get to go to all these wonderful venues around the world. We've caught up with Primož Roglič. Let's hear from your race winner.
Primož, another beautiful victory. You just saw it on TV. Did you like what you did today?
Yeah, for sure. Result was great. Weather was nice. Race was nice. Yeah, for me it could be a little less harder, but yeah, it was with the echelons. Super hard. Enter into the final lap, to the first time to the climb, and yeah, at the end I had a leg, so I could finish it off.
Take us through the last half kilometer. Just before Adam Yates attacked, did you expect that? Were you confident? Were you sure to win?
Yeah, for sure I expected. Yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? It's hard, and you know, you never really know what you have in the legs left for the final kick. Sometimes it goes, sometimes it doesn't go. But yeah, today I had it, so yeah, I managed it to follow and yeah, then pass him.
Cycling is not only about winning; it's also about who you beat. Do you realize you have beaten a very high quality field today?
Oh yeah, it's always in cycling, no matter which guys are around you, they are always yeah, strong guys, everyone. So yeah, was a nice company definitely, and yes, I'm super happy with my performance and the performance of the whole team, because yes, we started working from the very beginning, keeping the brake under control. And then we are also three guys of our team in the echelon, so yeah, went good.
And there is another race on Saturday.
Yeah, well, I don't want to think now at the moment. First, I want to take some rest, enjoy it, and yeah, the final one, the biggest one, and yeah, nice challenge in front of us.
Voilà.
Voilà. Grazie.
Nice challenge behind you as well, Primož Roglič. What a fantastic performer he is. What a consistent performer, and indeed a pleasant individual he is. Always fairly even-tempered and doesn't get too flustered or wound up. Nothing Adam Yates could do about that. And Primož Roglič working his way through. It was a long way out, and you sensed that Adam Yates must have been very, very wary of the sheer power that Primož Roglič can generate on those climbs. That punch he has continues to be feared across the world of cycling. 21 years of age. He talked about the level. It's a good answer, isn't it? A fairly obvious answer, really, but still certainly an honest one. That the level is always good, and the standard of the riders is consistently high in the events that he contests. And so he's got to face these challenges, face the attacks, come to expect it. And he's more feared than fearing, you feel. The big one coming up on Saturday. This is a pretty big one. Dealt with aplomb. Primož Roglič, who's got a trip to the podium to celebrate and to enjoy very shortly.
A lot less than after Emilia. Emilia was... Yeah.
90 kilometers in front of the riders in the 102nd edition of Milano Torino 2021 race, starting in Magenta just outside Milan, and already from the get-go frantic activity. Group of 6 up the road in the early stages. The winds blew across the Po Valley, and that encouraged the echelons and the splits, and it was a significant group of 25 riders that raced clear of the main peloton. By the time they came to the first of 2 assaults on Superga at the back end of the route, it was Mari van Sevenant, who was one of several riders from the Deceuninck Quick-Step squad, who went up the road and tempted the rest to chase him down. João Almeida and Julian Alaphilippe contained in that group behind for the Deceuninck Quick-Step squad. That left it up to UAE Team Emirates on behalf of Tadej Pogacar, and also the Team Ineos Grenadiers team. Trying to chase down Van Sevenant with Adam Yates there, man. Relieved to be in the lead group after chasing for much of the day. And it was Adam Yates that forced the further splits in the final climb of 5 kilometers up to the Basilica in Superga, just outside Torino. Only Primož Roglič able to follow Adam Yates. And these two would contest into the final 500 meters. The first attack coming from Adam Yates from Team Ineos Grenadiers. Primož Roglič not panicking, putting it on a big gear and grinding his way up onto the wheel of the man from Lancashire. And Roglič rolling over the top, and that power and strength carrying him clear to what would be ultimately a victory by 12 seconds. Team Jumbo-Visma and Primož Roglič getting the victory in Milano Torino 2021. So Primož Roglič getting the win ahead of Adam Yates. João Almeida just about pipping Tadej Pogacar for the final podium position. Michael Woods, David Gaudu, Diego Ulissi, Fausto Masnada, Nero Quintana and Alejandro Valverde all in the top 10. Hermans Vlasov, Fabio Taramay, Storer, Vizcara, Sivakov, Potsavivov and Sevenant and Champoussin. Your top 20 finishers. Scrolling down through the order, some of the great and good of world cycling, including Julian Alaphilippe, actually finishing just over 3 minutes down on the race winner. Wonders whether he's got the form necessary to contend for glory in Lombardia next weekend. Rule it out. Still to come ahead of that, of course, is Giro del Piemonte tomorrow. Another podium finish without getting the glory for Adam Yates. Frustration for the man from Bury. He's been on the podium 3 times now. 3rd in 2019, 2nd in 2017, and now another 2nd place finish. A couple of race debutants coming up with 3rd on the day. João Almeida just enough in hand to hold off Tadej Pogacar. Those riders holding their form nicely ahead of Saturday's big appointment. On the tree-shrouded hillside, playing host to the world's best bike riders this afternoon. Very shortly we are going to have the final presentation of honours today. Another opportunity to look at this moment, and well, the minute he came round him, Adam Yates knew that the game was up. It was impressive too, wasn't it, that when Yates went on the attack on the climb, that Roglič didn't initially, further down the climb, when he forced the split. Almeida and Pogacar not able to follow. Roglič just waited a moment and then just skipped across. Wasn't minded to just grind his way across and run the risk of bringing Pogacar and Almeida with him. Solid team performance. He mentioned in his interview as well, of course, that they had worked hard to close down the early break, and they were represented in the move when it split. So he would like it if it wasn't quite as difficult, but I don't know if another reason the race is difficult is just because of his sheer class and ability. Yeah, there's Victor Amadeus, the second Douai, defeated the French army, and he made a promise to the Virgin Mary that he would honour her, and this is what has been realised from that promise. Completed in 1731. Took them about, what, 15 years or so to 14, 15 years to build it. Not easy, transporting all that stone up the hillside.
Adesso è arrivato il momento di dare la linea al podio con Paolo Mai. Signore e signori, la cerimonia di premiazione ufficiale della 102esima edizione della Milano.
The final presentation about to be made to your preeminent riders at the conclusion of another wonderful edition of Milano Torino. Back on what's now its spiritual home, really, isn't it? The Basilica di Superga. Traditional finish, not always the case. Some finish lines are appropriate and consistent. Velodrome in Roubaix. Climb the Flesh Wallone, of course. And up to Superga, I think, is the way to keep it. Third on the day, the man from Portugal, João Almeida, representing the Deconic Quick Step squad with great facility. It's on his way out of the team, of course, at the end of the year.
Ed ora, signore e signori, sul secondo gradino del podio, lui arriva dal Regno Unito, difende i colori della Ineos Grenadiers. Applausi per Adam Yates!
Adam Yates' third podium finish in this event in the last 5 years. He'll crack one yet to give best to a better man on the day, but a great effort from he and indeed his team to ensure that he was still involved. Did much of the legwork to deny the hopes of others.
Sul gradino più alto del podio, il re della corsa del mito arriva dalla Slovenia, difende i colori della Jumbo Visma. Gli applausi per Primož Roglič.
Nothing anyone could do about this man. He's going to pick up this beautiful trophy. Elbow bumps and fist bumps all around. It's a gorgeous trophy, that actually. I had a little look at it earlier on, and it is just a wonderfully simple design and simple idea, but the little sort of cavallino rampante at the end of the front bicycle wheel is a nice piece of work, and it's a nice trophy to win, and it's a nice addition to your Palmares. Let's hear the national anthem of the winning rider.
Adam
The man that has
Yates.
done more than most to popularise that national anthem around the world in recent years. As Roglic gets to spray the bubbly. Large and appreciative crowd up here. Not that far, as I mentioned, from Turin, only about 10 kilometres from the centre.
Ringraziamo naturalmente l'autorità sul palco per la regione Piemonte, l'assessore allo sport Fabrizio Rica.
Well earned.
Ed ecco che si uniscono i tre sul palco. Facciamo ancora un applauso per Primož Roglic, Adam Yates, João Almeida.
There's your top three at the conclusion of Milano Torino 2021. Primož Roglic standing astride the podium, joined by Adam Yates and João Almeida. They the preeminent players on what's been a terrific day of racing. Time for more photos. Bit of recovery required as well between now and the weekend. I'm not so sure how many of the riders that race today will be racing tomorrow. I suspect a few, but not maybe the heavy hitters. Head off to Bergamo. Had a look at the conclusion of Il Lombardia. Race of Sonny Cabrelli, we believe, in action tomorrow in Piemonte.
Ora ringraziamo ancora una volta
Roubaix champion and indeed European road race champion, among a fairly cracked field involved there as well. Slightly different character of an event, as you might understand, by the presence of Colbrelli in that. The bubbly being sprayed here by the Vuelta champion and one of the most consistent riders of his generation. He continues to impress. And Primož Roglic has got the victory. Another one to add to his palmarès. A significant event indeed, significant addition, and vanquishing the rest, led by Adam Yates, Almeida, Pogacar, Woods, Gaudu, Ulissi, Masnada, Quintana and Valverde, all different parts of the mountain, when Roglic broke the beam and threw his arms in the air. Catch up with Adam Yates, actually. I wonder what the man from Ineos Grenadiers has to say.
Adam, how do you feel after this second place?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I had a good ride. But in the end, the strongest guy won. You know, I tried to go from the bottom. You know, the last few races, you know, the whole Vuelta and even Emilia, I kind of waited. And, you know, Primož, he just goes, you know, 500 meters to go, really explosive. So, you know, it's hard to beat him. So I tried to go early. And in the end, he still had the legs to beat me. So in the end, he's the strongest guy in the race. So
there were a lot of top champions in contention today. When you saw the front group with Quick Step with a lot of riders, did you realize you were in a group of really good riders?
I mean, yeah. I just have to say early on, big thanks to the guys, because we got caught out a little bit with the wind. We were in good position, but then just, you know, a few guys from different teams dropped the wheel. So we were caught out and we had to do a big chase. But in the end, we caught back up, and like I just said, I tried to do my thing on the last climb. And I did the best I could. Just in the end, not good enough. So we'll try again on Saturday.
You were fourth on Saturday, second today. You're moving up. There's another race on Saturday. Yeah,
I mean, that's the big goal for the end of the season. These 3 races were always on the calendar from the start of the year, and yeah, and the condition is there. I just need to pull out the bag. So one more try on Saturday, and hopefully I can be in the top step of the podium this time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Well, he's not far off, is he? And it's an honest appraisal from Adam Yates. Best man won on the day, but he's trying to find a way to beat Primož Roglic, trying different tactics. And the form is there, the condition is there. He's certainly going to be a force to be reckoned with on Saturday in Lombardia. João Almeida gave it a good old go today, just hung on for third.
So, are you satisfied with this podium at Milano Torino?
Yeah, in the end is the stronger riders, and I can be up there with them, so I'm really happy. I saw Adam and Primoz are just another level. I give everything I had to follow them, but I didn't have the legs to do it. In the end, yeah, I was fighting for the third place with Tade, and I was really happy and proud to take the third place. Always to reward all the teamwork. They did an amazing job today, and thanks to them, yeah.
Before that, almost all the Koenig Quick-Step team was at the front. What did you have in mind at that time? Were you confident? Were you the leader of the team?
I mean, we started the day with me and Julien as leaders. He was not feeling super. I mean, he was a bit sick before and also had to make a little break after the Worlds. But yeah, he was really good still, and he did a really good job to help me. And we had 6 guys in the crosswinds. So it was a really good teamwork. We had everyone in the front basically, and we could make the most of it.
And tell us about the final fight. It was you, yes, Pogacar. You guys will be teammates next year. How did it happen that you beat him?
I think he's a healthy fight, I would say. He's a really nice guy, and in the last 600 meters on the corner, we could see we could not reach the 2 guys, so we just battling each other for the third place. And I could be a little bit more explosive before the corner, and I could take the third place.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Almeida had the advantage into that final bend, but a good point, isn't it? They're going to be teammates next year at UAE Team Emirates, and Almeida just winning that little private, what is not quite but almost an internecine battle between the two. They're both fast finishers. I'll tell you what, if the group was 10 or 15 going to the line, it would have been tough to beat. The mountain, though, was no one to touch Primoz Roglic today.